Hi, I'm Ange Mack. Welcome to Operation Freedom 2, a fun and friendly show focused on our veterans' quality of life. And today we're going to heat it up a little bit with Bikram yoga instructor Bridget Hall. Bridget, welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
When we get started on this show, we have a first little component called Our Community Care Share. And before we talk a lot about Bikram, I'm going to talk to you about a program by the Red Cross. And this is a smoke detector free installation program. And the reason I want to bring this up is because so many people have smoke detectors in their home and they don't realize they're not working, or they don't even have them in their homes. And the Red Cross has an absolutely free program where they'll come in and they will check your system to make sure it is working, and if it's not, they will fix it. And if you don't have smoke detectors and fire alarms in your house, they will install those as well. Northern Virginia Veterans Association, they work with the sick and elderly veterans, and we actually have this question on our intake where we ask, do you have a working smoke detector in your home? And if they don't know, then we send the Red Cross out. They'll put one in or they'll fix it, and it's a great program. They go across all of Virginia. I believe there's a point of contact there on the screen, and if you have any other questions, you can check out my blog spot, Dr. Ange Mack blog spot, and get that link again. So again, thank you, Red Cross. We appreciate everything you do, from this program to what you do all over the United States and all over the world. So now to the rest of our program. Bikram Yoga. How did you get started in Bikram Yoga? First, what is Bikram Yoga?
So Bikram Yoga is 26 postures. You do each one twice. Start with a breathing exercise, end with a breathing exercise. Typically, it's done in a room that's at least 105 degrees.
105. That's hot.
Yeah.
That's super
Sometimes
hot.
we crank it up a little more.
Yeah.
And at least 40% humidity. And they're 90-minute classes. The original Bikram Yoga is 90 minutes.
Okay, so you sweat a little bit.
Yes, sweat a lot.
You sweat a lot. It's actually one of my favorite types of yoga.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how yoga helps, everyone, but specifically I'm looking at the veterans in the military too. And You're a veteran spouse, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what branch is your husband in?
He's in the Army.
He's in the Army. Well, thank you both for serving, because I know it's not just the spouse that's there working, but also the one that stays at home and helps with the families. And where is he now?
He's in Afghanistan right now.
Okay, in Afghanistan. All right. Well, we wish him, safe being over there and safe travels home when he gets back. And again, thank you both for your sacrifice and what you're doing for our country.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate that. So, okay, a little bit more about Bikram. 90 minutes, the original course. So you go in and you start with breathing exercises. As a new person, if they've never done it before, they might be very, very intimidated with the fact that it's, over 100 degrees and 40% humidity. Can anyone just off the street go in and do this? Is there anything they need to think about or be careful of?
Yeah, Bikram Yoga is for every single body out there. Typically, before your class, you want to make sure that you don't eat a big meal at least 3 hours before, and you want to make sure you drink enough water. Try and get some electrolytes in. But other than that, the first class is an experience, and you'll never forget your first Bikram Yoga class.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. So yes, anybody should come in. Is for every body there is.
Okay, so you do other kinds of yoga too. When did you get started in the yoga world? Were you a participant and then you became an instructor? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes, so I found Bikram Yoga in college. I love to run. I still love to run. So I found Bikram Yoga out of trying to figure out what was going on with an injury, and I fell in love with it right off the bat, because already with being in the heat, you get a cardiovascular workout. It feels like exercise, if that's what you want. And so I practiced Bikram Yoga through the rest of college and graduate school, and then after I married John, I said, I've got to go to Bikram Yoga training before we have children, and he said, then go to the next one. So I went to the next one within our first year of marriage, and after I was Bikram Yoga trained, then since I've done a 500-hour Power Vinyasa certification as well.
Right. So you do most of your instruction at the Bikram Yoga studio in Mapledale Plaza in Dale City.
Yes.
And they have other types of yoga too. They have one I saw called Infernal infernal hot Pilates, that's not hot at all. That doesn't sound at all intimidating, you know.
Yeah.
What other types of yoga do they offer there?
So they
And
offer.
they're all hot, right?
They
all of them
are.
or warm.
Yeah, I think they are all hot.
Yeah.
There's a vinyasa power yoga, and then I teach another class that we're calling a Bikram flow. It's all the Bikram postures put together with power vinyasa flow, and I add music to it. It's a little more fun, unless you. It's a little more fun if you want to get outside of your typical Bikram yoga box.
Very structured.
Yeah,
the Bikram is.
Yeah, it is very structured.
Okay, so there's the vinyasa flow, there's the infernal hot Pilates. What is that?
Infernal Hot Pilates, to be honest, I'm not a Pilates person, so I don't know. I know it's heated, and I think you work your muscle groups a lot of your core, that core stability, which will then in turn, of course, help you with your yoga
like
practice.
planks and those types of things.
Yeah.
And I've taken a bar class quite a few times, and that's nothing like yoga.
Yeah.
That's you're working out and you're lifting weights in a hot room with a bar, trying not to fall over.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
So it's,
I think it all started with Bikram, that you're in a hot room and you're getting all this cardiovascular and benefits from being in the heat that the other forms of exercises kind of fell in line.
Right.
People are starting to fall in love with them. So.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I tried Bikram yoga, I was sold on it because it did things for my body, mind, and soul that the regular room temperature yoga didn't do. I felt deeper stretches. I recovered from some of the injuries I had with my upper spine and some other things. So I just noticed for me, and I have 2 boys that have both tried it. One loved it. The other one absolutely hated it. So I think you have to like the heat and love the heat, which I do, or at least be able to tolerate it well for that, 60 minutes or however long you're in the room.
Yeah.
You're a runner, and you said one of the reasons you kind of wanted to get into it was you wanted help with some of the injuries you had. What type of, or would you mind sharing like some of the injuries you had and how Bikram yoga helped that?
Yeah, I mean, running is a repetitive motion, and our daily life is a repetitive motion. We're constantly in that flexion position, as we are now, sitting here. We're constantly looking forward, looking down, and the running motion is just part of that as well. So yoga, specifically Bikram or hot yoga, helps you counteract that. So whether, for me, my hips usually bothered me. Luckily, I never had any knee issues, but Bikram yoga is perfect if you have knee injuries because it helps unmask any sort of imbalances you have in your body, and then helps you figure out how you're going to fix those so that you can do what you like to do, whether it's sit at a computer all day long or go for your bike rides or your running or anything like that. So
So it's great for, just for helping the flexibility and your balance in general within your body and with your body structure. Being in the military, I was in the military for 22 years. There's a lot of challenges with being in the military. I was in the military as also a spouse of someone who was active duty. And I noticed within the military population and the veteran population now is that there are a lot of issues that sometimes plague the veterans, and I'm trying to bring some of these different types of recreational and fitness and arts programs to our veterans so they have options in making themselves feel better. And I know it helped me with injuries, but it also helped me sleep. It helped with my insomnia, helped with my racing mind. So do you have any experience like working and doing yoga with the military population, and how do you think it impacted them?
Yeah, it definitely helps increase anxiety and, in layman terms, slow the world down a bit. But yes, we lived on Fort Benning, and we made a yoga studio in my basement. And so on Sunday afternoons, my husband and his coworkers from the Ranger Regiment would come in and we'd do Bikram yoga. And they would all joke around and laugh what a good active recovery it was for them. But in terms, they all said, I can run better the next day, and I feel good. I slept so well. I stand up taller. So, and then even some of the younger soldiers that were trained to go to Ranger School, they would joke around and say, oh, we were in this phase at Ranger School, and then we thought, well, this isn't as bad as Bikram yoga. We can do this. So,
yeah, no doubt.
So it does help calm the mind. The world slows down. Everything doesn't seem as challenging as we initially may think it is.
Right, right. Well, that's great. You were able to do that class for them and get them involved, and maybe for the first time experience some yoga. I know over the years, I've been doing Bikram for about 12 years now, and over the years I've invited guys to take a class with me and experience. And I will say that I'm pretty sure the reason they never came back and I never saw them again is they were military. It was that they were probably asked if they wanted to deploy, and they're like, yes, I'll go to Iraq. It's got to be much cooler than going to Bikram with Angela again. So I just, it's like, I think I found the way, it's like, just take them to Bikram, they'll never be back. So, but it's actually, it's something that I think you fall in love with after you do it. You recognize what it does for your body. It does get you to slow down and just kind of process the therapeutic value that it's giving you. And I know across the board there are so many people that I see in the studio, from like 15-year-old kids basically to 85-year-olds. So it's not just for a younger population or an extremely fit population. You can be pretty much in any condition and get some advantage from the yoga, I think.
Yeah. It's so amazing when you go into a Bikram yoga, and yes, you have those 15-year-olds or the 65-year-olds, and every single type of body is in there, and they're doing the same 26 postures for their body, right at their pace. Yes, yes.
So you're not pushed. You can slow down and do things at your own pace. You don't have to try and keep up. Is that the process, or?
Bikram yoga is very specific. So you're asked to do a posture. It's very black and white, which I think goes well with the military. At least for my husband, I think he likes to know what he's going to get when he
very
goes
structured. Same
in
thing.
the room. Yes, and he's not the music. There is no music, so no music will be there to distract you. You do this, you do this, you do this, and then you change, and then you do that again, and then you move on to the next posture. So, but you work right at your pace, in the sense you get into the posture as far as you can get it. You don't need to go crazy and push yourself, because the heat is already there that's going to make it feel challenging. So every single body is in there working right at their own edge.
And what if you're doing this class and you're getting super hot and you can't breathe very well? What do you do at that point if you're in the class and you're starting to feel uncomfortable like that? Now, I mean, you have to expect, I guess, some kind of comfort or discomfort, but what would you suggest if someone wanted to try it, or if they've been doing it for a while and they started experiencing that?
Yeah, so that happens no matter if you've been practicing for 8 years or if it's your first time in the room. Sometimes the class can just feel overwhelming. And we always tell people, besides the first breathing exercise, you're always breathing in and out through your nose. So if you find yourself with open mouth breathing or gasping for air, you back off. So that's your edge. You have to find that fine line where things start to feel crazy, or you don't like being in the posture, and you get that heart racing feeling, then you back off. And that's all you got to do, and that's all your yoga is, really. You work right at that edge, and that edge continually moves further so that you can hold more in your cup.
And that's great, because I know every time you come back you feel a little more improvement. So like, yay, I can do this stretch better, I can hold this posture longer. So you can start to recognize, over the weeks, your own self improvement, which is fabulous. I think when I was first in the military quite a few years ago, I would try to work in some yoga and some deep breathing, and everybody would laugh. The people in the military, they would laugh at you, and they would be like, what are you going to do that sissy stretchy yoga kind of stuff for? And I was just like, it's what works for you, and this is what works for me. And now they have programs in the Marine Corps, in the Army, in the Air Force, across the service branches. It's for those that want that extra edge, is what they're finding. So the military, the Marines have been doing it, I've heard, for the last 10 years or more. They put it into their PT programs. And I'm just seeing that more and more and more across the board, because the benefit is there, and the research is there to back it up too, which is great. It kind of, again, it slows you down, like like you discussed. And one of your phrases, I think you've said multiple times, and I think it's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Is that yours?
Oh, yeah.
I think that was
yeah.
yours. So that's like one of my favorite ones. I put that on my Instagram, and I'm like, this is just a good overall when you want to improve. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and then you start getting comfortable, you know, with that. And then you kind of push yourself to that next, you know, limit going forward. So, and I think that's what we're here to do, just kind of keep improving, you know, and sometimes it's 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, and you just have to be fine with that as you do your workout.
Right.
The other piece of this show, I talk about the challenge of veteran transportation. Again, in 2020, it's one of the top challenges that the Nova Veterans Association, which I'm president of, has, and multiple other veteran associations trying to get veterans to their doctor's appointments in D.C. and out to the grocery store and out to do recreational things. So I want to ask, what is the best way, if you don't have transportation, what is the best way for a veteran to get to your studio at Mapledale and Dale City?
Yeah, I think there's a bus stop right outside the shopping center that veterans can take. And then there have been a few people who have just Ubered on over to the studio and asked me, what time do I get my Uber coming home? And then and then they leave right after too. So
could you guys accommodate, let's say, like a shuttle or a bunch of veterans if they wanted to come from like an elderly community living facility or something like that? Would you think you consider doing something of that sort so we could get something timed where they could get in, take advantage of it, and then get out and maybe work like that? Because we have so many things, and just I think if we do a little more coordination, we can get some of these veterans out to these, you know, great activities that could really benefit them on multiple levels. So all right. Well, Bridget, if someone wants to find out the schedule for Bikram Yoga and the other yogas, what is the best way to do that? Go to your website?
Yeah, I think it's on the website, and you can click a link for the class schedule, and it's right on there. And you can even sign up online. You can just wave to me at the desk as you walk by, because you're already in the system. So
yes. So that's www.bikram, BIKRAMVA, as in Virginia, VA.com.
Yes.
So they can go there, they can figure it out, and they can come in and experience. And you also have some great veteran discounts around Veterans Day, 50% off programs. It's fabulous. I always try to encourage all the veterans and military and first responders that I know. It's like, go in, take advantage of this, 50% off.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever get yoga cheaper than that.
No,
so
I don't think you will.
Lola's awesome for doing that.
She is. Lola is the owner of the studio. She is awesome. Bridget, thank you so much for being on with us today and telling us about Bikram and the benefits of yoga overall and what it does for our veterans and our military that go in and do this. It was a joy talking with you and learning a little bit more. Hope to see you around the studio. And hopefully we can get some other veterans and people out as well.
Yeah, I hope so too. And thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. For more information, you can go to drangemat.blogspot.com. Had to remember that. And make your comments. We are still looking for solutions for this transportation issue. I want you to go and post these, please. And if you have a fun and friendly show you'd like to share with the veteran community, please let us know. Until next time, enjoy your freedom to be flexible.